interviews. So you need that where everyone feels comfortable, where when they know they're about to get a good question out of you, or they know that they're just talking to one of their homies. So those would be the three.
Yeah. So I do want to get into your life a little bit post grad. Because I do remember when you came to speak to our class, you were very transparent about the struggles that you had after graduation and, trying to find where your niche was, because you didn't have, how everybody had these, I have an offer here and I have an offer here and I have this grand job here. And, you were still someone that was trying to figure it out. Describe the moment that you had, describe a few moments post grad where you feel like you had to endure and really push yourself through your situation to inevitably get you to success.
Yeah, I mean, girl, I haven't reached full success yet. So,
I mean,
I haven't reached
the pinnacle, but you are sitting in a seat of success. So we can't, for someone who just graduated, you might be like trying to figure it out. Talk about your experience post grad.
I feel for everyone graduating post grad because it's such a hard time. And if you're someone like me, I didn't just want to take that news job, and I just didn't want to be a reporter at this station. And I thought about it. I got to the point where I did think about it because it was now going on a year. I graduated 2018. I got this job in 2020. Good Lord. So it was only like, God, sorry, I had an early morning shoot this morning.
No, you're good. That's hard work.
Yeah, like it's just playoffs is killing me. And I ain't even on court. But yeah, like I graduated and I didn't have no job. I got rejected from basically everything. And so I had to figure out a way, one, how to keep doing interviews, how to keep creating content, and still try to figure out, okay, like this, what do you want to do? Because, entertainment is what I absolutely love and what I absolutely adore. But I also fell in love. I always loved basketball, but I didn't know that this could be a career. And so when I graduated, I had an internship with the Wizards. And so I graduated. I didn't get any of these jobs that I applied for. I mean, I think October rolls around. I hit my boss. September rolls around. I hit my boss like, hey, is it possible that I could, be on the game entertainment crew? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to bring you back. I was like, all right, cool. So I joined the crew. And it was that year of trying and figuring things out and still working, still doing interviews. But it was a lot of, like ups and downs in that year that I was working with the team. And I started therapy that January because I got super, super low. I had gained, I think at least like 20 pounds. I was just super depressed, super low. And I told my best friend one day, I was like, I need to get a therapist and I'm going to start one by the January. And so I got a therapist and we started talking it out. So by May, I started realizing, I loved entertainment. I loved what I did, but there was also a space for Black women in sports that there aren't really much of us in, and there aren't even really much roles. And so I was like, you know what? I want to be a digital reporter for a team. So I made that decision in March, figured out what I wanted to do. But then not only did God tell me what I wanted to do, right? Mm-hmm. He told me what I wanted to do, but he still was I was still getting rejected from all the NBA jobs I was applying to still. And so that was another moment where it was just hard because I was like, dang God, like I know exactly what I want to do, but you're not allowing the door to open so I can go do what I want to do because you done told me this. I feel like this is what you're telling me to do. And every time I would ask him like, yo, can you just prove to me like this is what I'm supposed to be doing? He would show me a little sign, a little simmer of hope. And then another year. And it took another year for me to get that job. It took till quarantine or COVID happened where I launched my own Instagram live series where I was just creating content and being me and doing it out of the my brother's living room, my brother's dining room. And I was still reaching out to teams and still trying to figure out, okay, how can I still create a space for me in these rooms? And it wasn't until June that I finally connected with the Jazz. And one thing about God is that he'll have you waiting for 2 years or a year and a half or whatever, or almost 2 years. He'll have you waiting all that time. But when things about to pick up, oh baby, you just get on the ride and you just go. You gotta always be ready. You gotta always be ready. Somebody said to me, one of the interviews I did was with the Pastor Mike Todd out of Transformation Church in Oklahoma. He said practice equals preparation. So he said during this time of downfall, during this time that you're in right now, you need to be practicing. You need to be preparing for that role because once that time comes, you don't want to look back at it and be like, dang, I was never even prepared. So that's what happened. By June, it rolled around. By July, I was interviewing. By August, I had the offer. By October, I was moved out into Utah.
Wow.
It was fast. and moved out to a place that I had never been to before.
So what did that feel like for you? Like I'm sure you weren't expecting to go all the way to Utah,
Girl.
when you first thought about this. So how did it feel for you when you got that job offer? You like, dang, Utah. I don't know
Yeah.
nobody in Utah. Like,
Um,
was there a moment of like you being hesitant about even taking the position?
yeah, like no, there was no hesitance about the
Mhm.
position. But a there was no hesitance about it at all. I was like, this is what I want to do and I'm gonna go do it.
Mhm.
Um, but it was a point of um it was I was nervous. You're nervous, right? Because this is like,
Yeah.
this is what you want to do, and then you're now with the NBA team, and it picks up quick, and I'm sad that I'm leaving my friends.
Yeah.
But there was no really no hesitance because I wasn't fully like, I was just going out here to do what I had to do. So it was a journey, but yeah, there was none of that. It's just sometimes you have your moments when you're in the job that are hard. So
Yeah.
that was my
So
biggest
like
thing.
when you got the word that you had to make that move, what was it in you that was like, oh no, I don't care where it is. I gotta get up, pack my stuff, and I gotta bounce, like by any means necessary. What was that in you that made you make that decision and didn't hesitate?
I I made the decision when I made the decision that that was a job I wanted to do. So I was going to go anywhere. So that year in 2019, I was like, I'm going to go anywhere. And I lived in DC all my life.
Hmm.
So that was another thing for me. For a lot of people, it's different because you were in LA and then you went to DC. You know what I mean? I had never left the comfort of my home state. I was always there.
Wow.
And so I'm a very big on being uncomfortable. And so I needed to feel uncomfortable. And so I was ready to go anywhere, but God was like, I'm gonna make you the most uncomfortable and I'm gonna send you to
You sure did. So why do you think that's very important for someone to always remain uncomfortable and never allow themselves to be stagnant and okay with their situation?
a lot of people say that when you're uncomfortable or when you're comfortable, that's when you stop growing. That's when you stop learning. And that's when you stop putting out your best work because that's what you do every single day. You want to be uncomfortable because it teaches you to be like, was that good? Was that all right? Because you're always working towards something. You're always working to be better. And so that's why I like to be uncomfortable because I'm constantly questioning, was that good? Was that all right? Am I doing enough? Am I saying this? Am I blah, blah, blah? So I think that's what forces me the importance of being uncomfortable and having those moments.
Yeah. So now while you were in the waiting room waiting for this position to, come across your lap, you did a lot of work and you created your own content. You created your own concepts and you allowed yourself to continue to grow and build your resume on your own. You didn't wait for the table. You didn't wait for someone to give you the seat at the table. You kind of built your own. And why do you think that it's important for creators, especially for women like you and myself, or anyone that just knows that their job isn't the typical job that everybody's telling them to get, but their job that they want is out there. They just don't know what the name of it is. They don't know what it looks like, and they're still trying to figure it out. So, what I want to know is how important to you do you think it is for someone to create their own content and really put in the work and show somebody that you don't need to wait for somebody to give you your golden ticket. You can create it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the answer right there, right? So it's
Mhm.
like me creating content forced me now when I'm in the job. I'm like, yo, this is what actually worked when I did this. When I'm presenting the fact that, okay, so I've already done this content and this is how this can elevate your brand. So I already come with the stuff like, yo, this is A, B, C, and D, and I don't need you to tell me this is blah, blah, blah. So I already come with the fact that, okay, I did this with a plastic fork and knife. I use that analogy all the time because somebody told me that. I remember my freshman year. I was doing this with a plastic fork and knife. And now that I have all these gourmet tools, I got an editor, I got a producer, blah, blah, blah. Now we're about to make it even better. But me having those times where I was creating content and trying to figure out, okay, how does this work? Does this appeal to this audience? Does this do this? Really kind of helped create who I am and made me more prepared for the job that I have now.
Wow. Now, so as a Black woman, what traits do you believe someone like you has to possess to be in the position that you're in at this moment?
Um, you have to be confident and you have to be strong. You have to be super confident because a lot of people are going to try to tear you down. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna combat you and fight you on what you say, on what your word is, and you got to be able to come right back at them with the facts. You got to be strong in who you are and knowing mentally, okay, I can take this, I'm gonna be okay, and I'm gonna approach this with this, and I'm not gonna let anyone deter me from where I am and having that mentality.
Have you ever had to encounter a situation like that where you had to use all three elements or all of that, in one situation?
Every day. Especially being out here, it's a battle. I love what I do. I love my job, but every day it's a fight for, maybe not a fight for to create the content, but it's a fight to make sure, okay, this is why this is important. This is why you guys brought me here, reminding people, okay, this is why I'm here. This is why I want to be this. This is why I want to do this. This is why I want to go to this next step. So every day is a test of my confidence, and making sure every day when I'm in that arena and I'm seeing new fans and creating content and knowing that my content's about to be on the big old jumbotron at the game, and knowing that when I hop on a Zoom with one of the players, I'm confident enough to know that I'm about to answer these questions and I'm about to do what I got to do. I'm about to ask these questions and they're about to give me some good answers. And I'm confident in the question that I drafted up and prepared.
So what does that pep talk look like before you step into those arenas?
Girl, I've been listening to a lot of Lizzo.
Okay, Lizzo.
Yes, I'm 100% that. Beyonce's Mood Forever. And then sometimes I do some Kirk, Melodies from Heaven. That'll Always get you. No Weapon Formed Against You by Fred Hammond. Those are kind of like, I have to have those, like the drive to the arena is 2 minutes. But I have to have that 2 minutes. So one of those songs are being played. And usually it's not Melodies from Heaven and No Weapon Formed Against You can never be finished during that time. But if I'm driving to work, it's 8 minutes. So I can usually get one of those songs in.
Hey now, so your sanctuary is your vehicle.
My vehicle now, thank God. I didn't have a vehicle before. So I had to my sanctuary used to be my space, my apartment. But now I can kind of leave and get in my vehicle and drive.
Yeah, and you are someone who's in a position where that's the first ever position that they've had of its kind, right? So it's like, that's a lot of pressure on one person to kind of, perform, what is it, excellence without excuse is what Professor Thomas tells us all the time, so
all the time.
So how is that pressure for you? Like, how do you handle that pressure, of like possibly opening up a door for the next young Black woman that will come after you to fulfill that position?
I mean, it's a lot of pressure to do what I do. Because it is new. Mm-hmm. And with something being new, people are trying to figure out, okay, how can we use you? How can we utilize you? And I think that's very important, and that can be kind of hard sometimes. But it is a lot of pressure because you do want to create space for the next one. You want to make sure that you're doing everything right. But you also just want to make sure that you're creating content that God has put on your heart and you're following in the footsteps that God has destined for you. And so I just try to stay prayed up and understand that, I can't really focus on the fact that, okay, am I changing this young girl's life? No, I just got to keep doing what God told me to do and keep delivering whatever my ministry is. And I know those people are going to follow my footsteps, and those more doors are going to be opened.
I love that. Now, for anyone that might be viewing this interview and looking for inspiration, in any facet, what are some words of advice and encouragement you can give to someone in their season when they were trying to figure it out and trying to get past their season of, darkness, as you will?
Keep going. I mean, that's literally what it is. Keep going, keep your foot on their necks, and keep going. Keep creating content, keep doing what you're doing, keep loving yourself, keep surrounding yourself with people that are going to uplift you. Just simply keep going and be passionate and go after what you're passionate about. Don't go after what you think is cool. Don't go after what you think, okay, this is what I need to do. Go after what you're passionate about, because I promise you, that makes life 10 times harder. When you're going after something just because, oh, this blah, 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 you start losing that exhaust. You start losing the gas. Your foot starts getting off the pedal. Your foot stops getting off their necks. So go after what you're passionate about always.
Love that. And on that note, that is the end of our interview. Thank you so much, Nayo. Lord Jesus, Nayo.
You said it right. I thought you said it right. I didn't even hear Nayo.
No, oh my God. I put an L at the end of your name. I gave you a whole nother name. But I appreciate you for taking time out of your crazy schedule, to come and exchange energy with me virtually. Hopefully one day we get to do this in person and we don't have to sit in front of these, Zoom screens and end up with Zoom fatigue, dealing with all this.
Right?
Yes, girl.